Actually, quite a common one that I'm
Hmm.
seeing is people saying that their garbage disposal is tripping their breaker. What would you sort of recommend
Mm.
for someone who's experiencing that?
Yeah, so for that, the first thing you want to check is how well your blades turn, again by putting your Allen wrench underneath. And if it's really hard to turn and even if you give it a revolution or two and it's really not letting up, that means your motor's having to work extra hard. You're pulling more amps of electricity. The safety switch reset should catch it, but sometimes it won't, so your breaker
Hmm.
will in the end. That is typically the reason the motors get worn out, and at that point, definitely just time for a new disposal.
Yeah, makes sense. Breaker tripping issues, as you've mentioned on other appliances and things, it's not a, it's a symptom, not a cause. And so the cause is often that
Right.
it's to do with the motor not being able to turn enough, which will then pull more power.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. The other case where the breaker could be tripping, and typically this would happen more so. Let's say as soon as you turn the breaker on, it trips again, or it trips when you're not even using it. At that point, there's going to be a wiring issue. So most garbage disposals have a cord that goes from the disposal and plugs in somewhere underneath the sink. So the first thing that you're going to want to do is typically there's one screw on the bottom and there's a little metal plate. Of course, unplug it first. But once you remove that plate, you can actually see where the wires of the plug hook to the wires of the garbage disposal. It's good to visually inspect it, make sure nothing is burnt up or anything, and even just unhook the cord, inspect the wires, both from the cord and coming from the disposal. Hook it back up, make sure everything's nice and tight. Maybe wrap a little electrical tape around each of the
Mhm.
wire connections, plug it back in, and see if that fixes the issue. If it doesn't and it's still tripping, then before you call an electrician and have to pay that service fee, what I would recommend is putting something that's going to use some electricity, like maybe plug in a toaster or a blender or a microwave or something in that plug, use it for a few days, see if it trips. If it does, it's definitely in your wall. And if it doesn't, then it's something in the cord or the
Perfect.
disposal.
Yeah.